All right, hello ladies, I'm Amber and I'm going to talk about the Seint cream makeup. Kind of like when you first get it, what can you expect, kind of how to set it up. I do have my eyes done, but I will apply it to my face so you can see the different variations that you can do. With this makeup, you can literally apply it any way you want. You don't have to do all the steps. You can keep it very minimal. You can do fuller coverage, lighter coverage, a tinted moisturizer. The possibilities are endless. I'm going to show you, I like the palette 12. I always recommend at least a 12 or larger because you will always grow the makeup. Because once you try it, you will love it. So the palettes, like this one comes in 2 different layers. It is magnetic. Right now in this one, I have my, comes with a mirror, but I have my contour, my main shade, which is like the closest to my foundation shade. My brightening, which is kind of like your concealer, and then my bronzer. You can see that it's kind of like you're getting a hole in it. Remember, the cream makeup, you can melt down and refresh them. So you will not waste any bit of what's in your tin. And then I just threw in a cheek color here. And then this is the setting, Vanilla Dust setting powder. You can see that my brushes have kind of like crossed over into it, but it's okay. My second layer, I always keep in, I use these 2 shades for my brows. So I just keep them in here. And then I interchange out eyeshadows all the time. I do have larger palettes for that. But we're not talking about that today. I'm going to show you, but when you first get your tin, let's see, I have a lip color here. So when you first get them, they come in like these little tins like this. So you just slide them out. And then because they're magnetic, I'll just kind of demonstrate my palette's a little dirty. Don't mind me. But you just take it out and put them in there. And you can do a layer any way you want. You can go that way. You can change it to that direction. It really doesn't matter. And you can, and that's why it's so customizable, you know, and if there's colors that you don't use all the time, you can take those out and replace them with new. If my bronzer runs out, I'm able to just pop that one out and put a brand new one in. I don't have to buy a whole new palette, which is so nice with the Seint makeup. So I'm going to start, I'm going to show, and I'm sure any of you who have watched the Seint makeup, you've seen the application with brushes, you've seen the application with finger. I will do one side with my finger application and the other side with the brushes, and you will still see, you can still get the same result, okay? So I'm going to start on this side with my finger. So I'm going to use my bronzer. And again, I mean, I'm sorry, my contour. I'm looking at my bronzer, my contour. So that is where you're going to kind of create shadow and you're going to define parts of your face. So like the cheekbone, around the brow, or around the forehead here, nose, and like jawline. You don't have to do this. Like I said, you can do however you want. You could do like your mane all over with some bronzer and some blush. You don't have to contour. If you're like, oh my gosh, contour scares me, you don't have to do that. Something else I should point out is make sure that you moisturize your skin before you put your cream makeup on, but make sure that it is a silicone-free lotion, because if it's a cream makeup and you put silicone on there, it's going to slip and you're going to get like separation and stuff like that. So you want to make sure it's a silicone-free moisturizer and leave it sit on long enough to soak in, okay? Now I'm going to take my main shade, which I said is kind of like my normal all over shade. So I'm just going to kind of put that where I want a little extra coverage and just kind of tapping it in there. Okay. And you see I have redness in my face, and because the tints, they're so pigmented, they look different in here than they do in the face. But because they're so pigmented, it covers it up so nicely. And then my brightening, so I like to kind of pop that around my eyes without, normally I do my face makeup before I do my eyes, so I'm going to try not to ruin my eyes. And then in between the forehead, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this on top of the nose right away. Here, here, kind of wherever you want brightness, you know what I mean? You don't have to be so specific on it. And then I'm going to put some bronzer on. Again, you don't have to do bronzer. I love me some bronzer all year round. It does not matter. So that, and then some cheek color. And you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to do it this way. And if you blend it out and you're like, oh, I want more, you can always add more. You don't have to go back and like, well, now it's stuck, you know. I'm gonna leave that hang out there. And then I'm gonna put this side on with a brush right away. And then you can kind of see. So I'm taking my detail brush and I like it. It's good for contouring. I do need to clean these brushes, but the brush cleanser is amazing because you can clean them and use them right away, but I'm not gonna waste time on here for that. So I'm gonna kind of just dip in to my contour. And again, and I'm kind of stippling it on there. You will notice your contour is a little bit more denser of a consistency. And our contour also has coverage. So you don't, you know, you don't have to layer it. It will give you the coverage that you're looking for. And then kind of the side of the nose. Same spot as I put it with my finger, but just with a brush. I've also even applied my contour and my mane, some bronzer, put some lotion on my hand, and kind of use my fingers and went around. There's so many different ways you can go about doing it, okay? So you can see that obviously stippling it on there, it's a softer touch, okay? I'm going to use the other side of the detail brush and going into my brightener. That was probably the biggest thing for me when I got Seint makeup was like to, instead of calling it foundation, it was like brightening, you know, brightening shades and your highlight colors. Like it's different language, but it all works. Once you start using it, you'll understand. And I cannot stress enough, because I made the mistake when I first started using the makeup, is we use too much. Because with traditional makeup, you're used to like putting it on. Less is definitely better with Seint makeup because it is cream. It is so pigmented. I don't want you to feel like you're frosting your face. Like if you put too much on, you will know you have too much on there because you will see it, and you won't. You'll know, like it just will be like very like not, I want to say texture, because your skin, you can't not texture your natural skin. Like obviously nothing can cover that, but like you'll be able to see it. Like it just won't look right, you know. It will blend in if you have the right amount on. Okay, so that's a try. It took me probably maybe a week or so of playing with it to get used to not having too much on. All right, then I'm gonna take my bronzer blush brush. I kind of use both sides for everything. I don't know. So I'm gonna go into the fluffier side and go into my bronzer. Some people like to use this side for the cheek. Again, it's however you want it. And I'm gonna kind of apply that up here, high points, top my cheek here. And again, you can go in any order. Like I said, I did my mane before on the other side, and I kind of forgot I haven't put my mane on. So let me grab my brush. This is the 3D brush. This is my first brush I ever had, actually. It used to be this design with the black on the bottom, and then they've changed to this kind. But I used this one single brush for probably 2 years before I got any other brushes. So you can get away with just using, you know, one brush for a while, but they're double-ended, which is so great to have. All right, let me go into my main shade, kind of add that on there in the spots that I did on the other side. Kind of stippling that in there. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to add some of my cheek color up here. And then you can either blend as you go or as you apply. It really does not matter. I didn't want to blend out too much because I wanted you guys to see how I have it the same on each side. So I'm just going to kind of blend it all out now. And then I'll see where I want to add maybe some more color to it. Okay. And then, let me see. Let me think. I know there was more stuff I need to say. Let's see. Less is more. Definitely, you're going to want to use a setting powder or a spray at the end to set your cream makeup, because your face is warm, right? So it will warm up on the skin, which is another reason why if you store it in a cooler area, it'll be a little bit more firmer to use. And which same as in turn is if you use it in summer and like you get it from your mailbox, to let it set a little bit, because they can melt down, like I said before, and you don't want to make a mess, right? Okay. All right, so I'm not going to add any more on there, so I get this side blended out and see if I want to add any more cheek color and like that. Okay, so you can see it's just a really nice blend. I don't have any like major texture. I know I don't have too much on. Okay, so I'm going to blend this side out as well, and then you're going to be able to see that it doesn't matter what kind of application you use, you're still kind of coming up with the same end result, which again means there is no right or wrong way of applying it, right? Okay, some people just don't like that finger application. Some people love it. Like, it's really your own preference. I change it up. Depends on the day, how I feel, what I want to do with my makeup, and what I want it to look like, right? So kind of going in here, and here you can see I got a little more carried away with my cheek color. That's okay, because we can definitely tone it down. And an easy way to do that is I'm just going to go into my mane here a little bit, and I'm just gonna go back in there and just kind of cover some of that up, right? Because with the cream makeup, you have the ability to do that. You're not stuck with what do you have on your face and that's it, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm just kind of toning that down just a hair. Get a little more brightening over here. A lot of times before I will blend out, and I didn't want to do it just because I had half my face done, is I will take our setting spray and spray it on first and then blend it out. I really like how that feels as well on my skin. But again, it's your own preference. Okay. So then I think I'm going to add a little bit more contour. Just a tiny bit. Contour, we're going to want to shape out your face, kind of carve your cheekbones out. So I know where mine are, but it's going to be like right on the bridge of it. You don't go too low because then it's going to drag your face down. So keep it up higher and it'll bring your cheekbones up, right? But you can see already how, see, and I was trying not to mess my eyebrows up here, so I need to blend a little bit more. But you can see how it doesn't have too much. It gives a nice shine, or I shouldn't say shine, dewy look. I should probably do my contour. You know how many times, like, you forget your contour on your neck? And then you're like, wait, what is that? I forgot to do that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to use my setting spray. I have Seint setting spray. I like this one. I like Charlotte Tilbury, works good. Urban Decay works really good with our makeup. So those are all options to use for your setting spray. I like to get enough on there. You want enough on there so that it sets in, right? Now, some people, when they see the Seint makeup, they're like, it looks greasy. I don't like that dewy look kind of thing, right? So another tip to remember, get your powder. I like to either use the Vanilla Dust, or I like to use the Coty Airspun powder as well. Also works good with the Seint makeup. And this you can get at like Walgreens, Walmart, Target, wherever, for a couple bucks. So anyone will work, but I like to use the Vanilla Dust just because it's in my palette. So I'm actually taking my powder brush, which this actually comes in collection too. If you use the brush with the Vanilla Dust, you can put that together as well. So I'm just taking the flatter side of it, and I'm just kind of stippling it in there. Just kind of pressing it in. I'm not swiping. And you know, I tend to like get some of it off before I go near my eyes. You don't have to go by your eyes. I just like that extra help of not getting any creasing around the nose, because we tend to get a little more like shiny around the nose, right? I like to keep my cheek area more dewy looking, and sometimes I'll add illuminator on, but I'm trying to keep it more simple for you today. But that is the look of kind of like almost like the basic setup. I think the basic setup would be kind of like more like your contour, your mane, your brightening, which is like your concealer, a bronzer, cheek color, and then like a setting powder. But that is something that you can definitely do, and you can see like it's not heavy, more textury, nothing like that. So hope this helps with you get your makeup for the first time, kind of the setup, some tips and tricks for you. If you have any questions, reach out to me. If you're looking to try the makeup, Send me a makeup-free selfie or fill out my form. Either way, I'll get you there. If you do fill out my form, I will respond back within 24 hours or so. And then check your spam or junk mail, whatever like that, because sometimes it doesn't get sent to your inbox. So have to try it.